And of course, OBS crashed. I don't even know if the multi-output's working. Let's get you done. I'm gonna have to verify that. Yeah, it says it's streaming. So that's YouTube. It's got a, I think that, yeah, that logo just bounces around when you resize it. So we're live on that. And welcome while I get Twitch and Kick up and running too. Let me verify that the other streams are alive. This one looks to be old, so I can do this and refresh. And that one is alive. And if I tilt my head this way, Twitch is usually pretty fast. And I tilt my head this way, it should be. Yep. And you are good, so everything's back. This one is a new stream where I'm trying to cover. I'm getting this set up and running. We're coming in from Night versus Night, which is my streaming channel, but I wanted to get this. I mean, they're going to have multiple of these chats too, which is fine and cool, I guess. This one didn't save that. Custom browser docs for you. Let's pull up you and grab your HX ID and put you in here. Apply, close. Yeah, you're fine. Now we hide you. Card. Display none. Okay. We're good there. We're good there. We're good there. We're getting this stream up and running. And we're getting Twitch and Kick up and running too. So I have social set up. At here, and I could bring you over here and just close you and call you good. And now this is where I get, you're logged in here. I go into my Look at What AI Can Do channel. I need to grab my stream key there. I need to get my Kick. Did I log into Kick? I didn't actually log into Kick. Mute you, I don't need you. Just all these street vendors in real life type stuff. All right, logging in as Look at What AI Can Do. I already have a look at what, I'm pretty sure I already have a Look at What AI Can Do at Kick. I didn't create that, so Look at What AI Can Do. And then we'll just call me me. Nope. 9, 9. Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, oh, so I guess I don't have to scroll all the way down. Alright, so I am you. I'll put you here. Twitch. Alright. And I'll bring you over to the Twitch side. We're not going to worry about Facebook at the moment. I really don't even need to worry about Twitch and Kick, but I'm going to anyway, alright? Let's this one's not going to, we'll see. I'm going to redact. It's sending me a security code, so you're going to email it to me? Yep. Let's come into here. Oh, that one doesn't redact. Interesting. The
was Doomsday by White Bat Audio. Now playing.
and new target. Look at what AI can do. Kick. RTMP. The URL looks a little obfuscated, so that you need. I'm not gonna show the kick URL. I'm going to. Go figure, it crashed again. So let's turn this off and redact real quick and make sure I don't need the checklist. We're actually doing the goals. It didn't actually save the frames. That's interesting. Noticing the goals. It didn't save any of that stuff. The saving the persisting of OBS is a little odd. So I need to actually verify the streams are running again. This is it says we're live on you and we're live on you. This is me. Redacting. Redacting. Okay. I was back on. I am redacting. That is correct. I copied this extreme key to OBS, and I am editing the kick settings to match these kick settings. Again, it did that. It crashed again. Pushing the limits. Let's see if I pull up multi-stream output and I look at. Yep. Well, this is just a little bit. FA723B171. All sorts of crashes here. Yeah, lots of crashes. It may, I don't know if it is or isn't related to all these multi-streams that I'm setting up.
Now playing forever.
Tools, source doc, expands you, just to give me a little bit of workspace here. It seems to be when I kind of close or modify this kick, and the URL is the same across all the kicks, so I don't think there's anything in that URL there's no tie in between look at what AI can do and night versus night. The fact that they're just use the same server address is a coincidence, I think. But yeah, it's going to crash here again. I want to basically look at its software. It's x264, 1080, 30 frames per second, 6000 ABR, to profile high. I don't know why profile is high. CPU usage preset higher is less CPU. Very slow. It's anyway. I suspect, but it's just crashing when I hit X here. So I'm not sure what's going on. I'm gonna probably have to do this offline then. I was hoping, and at least I got YouTube going. So let me forget about Kick. I'm just gonna close this out and trying to think if I can disable or something. If I could protocol disable the thing, or if I just should delete the Kick. So I'm going to close this. It's probably going to crash OBS. And the time is 4:38. I'm going to turn a light on. I'm fine with just YouTube. I was hoping to do Kick and Twitch, but if I'm running into these crashes live while streaming, go figure. So here I am. I'm going to close this. It's going to crash, but I'll be right back. Oh, hey, it didn't crash. This one is not started because I haven't told it to sync yet with. Wow, that one was a delayed reaction. I closed it and it streamed for a little bit, and then after like 30 seconds, it crashed. So I'm gonna do the Kick and stuff afterwards. We'll just have to live with YouTube for the now. One last verification that YouTube is streaming. This is me looking at that. We're good. On that, let's check you. And this is me looking at that. We're live and looking at this tab, which is on that tab, and it's getting there. That's fine. This is fine. Okay. So we're good. I'm not sure why that's... There we go. That's got a long delay. I wonder why the other one doesn't have as much delay. 27 views. Wow. Interesting. All right. I'm streaming on, talk about like scattered, schizophrenic, crazy. I'm streaming on 2 channels now. Night versus Night, behind the scenes, which will become its own channel once I reach 1,000 subscribers. And look at what AI can do. And you are spam in Kick. So let's... You're not in this. You were not streaming to this Kick. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So redact that out. I'll have to change that and regenerate that key. Reset. And redact. Making sure. I'm going to reset that key. And grab this. view and kick and paste and don't save, reset. Has been used. I guess another code. Okay, a second code. A third code. Let me just verify that I can even. Reset. Send again in a minute. There's the code. I'm not sure what the resets. It looks like it's changing, so I'm gonna go ahead and just then refresh that page. And come back here, unredact. And we're how far into this stream? 20 minutes in, go figure. I could probably snip out all this setup stuff here, especially any of that showing keys and stuff, but it's all been regenerated, so no big there. What are we doing? I'm going to show you how I do some Codex stuff on a little hobby browser that I've been writing, which is Phraims. And this is Phraims. It's a Qt browser. And I'm launching this, and got to do a quick intro. I wrote this for one reason, and this is it. This is the browser. So let me just make it full screen here. And it's just a browser. But here, if we go YouTube, and then we say Twitch, and then we say Kick. Then I gotta log in. And it's not such a big deal. But I am gonna redact while I do this login stuff. So let me do that real quick. Who wanna sign in? We wanna sign in as I'm gonna sign in as Knight versus Knight. And let's see here again. I have to do this right now because I've reset the organization on my phone or tablet. Tap yes. Yes, it's me. I'm in. Don't ask again on this device. All right, I'm in on YouTube. That was easy. Twitch, it's not so bad. Knight versus Knight. Let's do my Twitch password.
That was Knee Deep in the Dead by White.
And my Twitch two-factor code.
Star Citizen. Pedro Macedo Camacho by Into the Void.
Okay, we're in on Twitch. And then finally, Kick. Grabbing this password. And this code. And we're in. All right. So now I'll unredact after I close this. All right. Unredacting. So what I had worked on for the past 4 hours on the browser. Not literally the past 4 hours, but for a good chunk, 30 plus minutes, is DRN. This is an open source browser. And this is what it does. The Phraims icon itself is, I spent time on it, so I'm going to show the Phraims icon. I think it's a little bit cute. Here's the icon. It is a caricature of things that you might find and see and use a web browser for. So for instance, in this Phraims browser, let's make a new window. And let's call this one YouTube. And we'll make another one called Discord. And let's make another one. I can just hit Control T, Command T, and we'll call this one Google. And make another one. So instead of tab-based browsing, this is frame-based browsing. It's crazy, but give me a moment. Amazon.com. Another one. Just give it a moment. Let's see. This one's going to be Messenger. And finally, we have Zoom.com. I can probably pick a better example, but why not Zoom? All right. This looks pretty bad, right? We can change the layout to be a grid. And now we're Brady Bunch style. And it still looks pretty bad. But let's zoom out a little bit of all of them. Now, right now I only have per frame zooms. I'm going to change it so that I can scales, not zooms, but scales. I'll make it so that I'll have the whole window, everything in the window can scale. And when you resize it, it will auto scale. So I'm working on it. This browser's like a week old. But let's zoom out on you. And zoom out on you. And you. And you. And you. And so I'm not going to torture you with the signing in on these things. But needless to say, this caricature of the Phraims, you've got, it should be pretty obvious that you've got your YouTube, your Discord, your Google, you've got your video player, your game chat, your search, your shopping, your messenger, your chat, and your video conferencing. And so here I've got these things basically lined up. So this is just a caricature of what I typically use a browser for, and it allows me to manage content in a different way than other browsers currently do. And it's got the standard kind of built-in Mac layout stuff. Let me fix this edge here.
That was Mass Extinction by White Bat Audio. Now playing on First.
Grab this edge,
by Arthur Riley.
shove it right there. And so what I built it for was, I'm signing as night versus night. If I do this, is it going to create a new, let me pull up the pre-existing URL, and that's going to be this one here of you and this stream and this address. Chrome's OBS has crashed on me a few times as I've been trying to set up the multiple output streams. That's why I'm not currently streaming Look at What AI Can Do to Twitch or Kick, is because OBS has crashed now 6-7 times, and I'm not going to repeat that anymore. So every time I do, it loses these settings live unless I have gracefully closed down OBS, and it's a little annoying, but I'll just live with it. All right, and then I do one more thing here. I hide this annoying pop-up here. All right, so this is how I had my browser set up, and I did want to grab these URLs. But with Phraims, let me make this a little larger so that you can see me editing. There's that chat. Here's this chat. Here's this chat. So now, instead of in OBS, I've got this source docs and I got custom browsers. I use SocialStream. I've played with it. I'm not against it at all. I wanted to challenge myself to see what I could do on you, a Trump supporter. Thanks, Buttercup. I don't know what you're talking about. We'll see. Distraction. You know, this is the way of the world nowadays, right? Who's that was on Kick. What the fuck? Whatever. I don't know what Mr. Buttercup is. What I said that has anything to do with Trump. You're either fake and just want a result or whatever. You are fake, and I'll get rid of you. I don't think you're real, so I'll ban and mute you. Anyway, gotta deal with them when they come up, right? But that's the point, is I wanted a chat. And I have in OBS, I have this as a failsafe. This is a fallback. If nothing else is working, I've got this chat. And it works. I can adjust these sliders up and down, and it's reasonable-ish. But I wanted to challenge myself and make my own browser. And that's how Phraims got to be. One of the cool things, you might have noticed that when I started this, I went in and right-clicked and display none'd the cards element of that. Well, in this, I have a DOM patches. Since I wrote this, you can get me off on, I can go off on what it's like to write software in 2025 nowadays. But let me grab this. I'll add this. I don't need all this stuff. I just need the URL. And the selector is card. And the display is none. And now, when I say OK, I'm going to enable it. I do want to add the CSS selector example display none. I want to add that as card. And then close. And poof, that thing's gone automatically. And it remembers it. And then I just fixed this, and then I got it so that even if I had to enlarge it this big, now the splitters, if you double-click a splitter, it'll resize and do that. So I can basically come up here, I can get this where I want it to be until that starts moving, and then I can double-click that, and I get that. And similarly, with these others, I've got these this one minimized. I can resize these, and this, and that, and so I can do it's not tab-based browsing anymore, it's frame-based browsing, and so that's what Phraims is. It's a frame-based browser. And I just played with the name. It's obviously a stupid name, but it was a hobby project. So that's my introduction of Phraims. And I'm watching the time. But this is Look What AI Can Do, because it's probably been 95, maybe even 99% written by AI. I've been a software developer for 28 years. And I know a thing or two about programming. But man, it's like to just talk, to just be able to natural language explain what you want, and then have a very advanced calculator go off and just do all the math and lay out all the code for you is extremely compelling. And being that I'm unemployed, I might as well learn how to be rapid. I was going to show, so this Look at What AI Can Do stream is focused on Passkey integration. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to try to time box it real quick. I hope to implement passkeys in 15 minutes. I have no idea if it's even possible, but I'm going to start a timer on my Stream Deck here and see how close I can get to 15 minutes. I wonder if I could have that as a multi-action step to start the timer and then overlay something on the screen here at the same time, like a 15-minute timer directly on the screen. So I'll invest. Hashtag note to self. Is there a way for me to get the Stream Deck Neo to multi-action a timer plus a OBS scene item so that I can start a timer on the Stream Deck and see it both on the Stream Deck and in the stream, not necessarily on the screen. It would just be an overlay in the stream. So this is frame-based browsing using Phraims browser. It is an open source browser, and I think where I was going with this, I only have these two windows open. So let me get a third window open. So Command N to open a new window. And I'm going to I'm going to open twitch.com TV. And I'm going to Command Tab. I'm going to make a new tab. So Command T, because everyone knows what Command T is. Maybe one day there'll be a Command F, but that's probably already taken. And then we're going to go kick. And if you notice here, and I can lay out these things horizontally or vertically or grid. Grid is going to be the same thing as a vertical stack. It's going to figure out there's some ambiguity here, and I'm going to hope to clean this up. But if I were to stack them horizontally and then zoom out, you'll notice that things aren't rendering. This is hourglassing or swirling, and this is not playing. It's because of DRM, and I interrupted myself probably like 15, 20 minutes ago into this stream, that I've learned that it's not such an easy project writing an open source hobby browser. Based on Qt, open source. And I probably chose the wrong language to implement this in. And I might consider another better cross-platform Chromium browser framework to implement this in. But I suspect it might have the same problem. If it was Ceph-based, maybe that's why Qt uses Ceph and not, sorry, maybe that's why OBS uses Ceph and not Qt browser. So I have a ticket on this. Let's pull up you, not you, but you. Let's go look at my code, the code. Yeah, so I'm not even going to go into that. This is one I created accidentally. I created this one first as Look at What AI Can Do, but I created it as a business GitHub account, and oh my, what a disaster that was. So I renamed it, and I made the disaster even worse. So right now I can't do GitHub build actions. I have to basically set up a budget on this thing. It's a mess. I've created a Look at What AI Can Do. So I renamed the thing I created wrong to have a 2 on it. And then I created what I should have created from in the first place. And this is what I will be working out of, but I can't right now because of stupid GitHub reasons. I have a ticket open. We'll get to it. I'll clean it up. This will go away. But I have issues. But on the closed issues, I've worked on all this stuff with AI, either Copilot, either these things had been assigned to Copilot, and Copilot went off and did them and implemented them, and I worked with it. Some of them came through very easily, and some of them took quite a bit of work. But what I did here was investigating Ceph. I think I had an investigation about why Ceph. Do I have talked about Ceph at all? I don't think I do. I did it somewhere. I was looking about Ceph somewhere else in one of my other projects. It might have been my media player. That's where it was. It was in my media player, which is under a different. It's a media player. I've got a purpose for this here. Issues. And if I search for Ceph. Wow. OBS. Is it this one? It was a local side conversation that I had with an AI that probably didn't make its way up into a ticket, where I was discussing with an AI why OBS OBS is a Qt-based application. So there's a Qt web browser, and it's been around for a few years, Chromium-based even. So why does OBS use Ceph and not Qt Web Engine? And I think I now know why. Going off a little bit on a tangent, for sure. Because you have to... There's a limitation here on Phraims, that it being an open source, since it is just open source, and it's literally like a week or two old at most, then there's been not enough time to even email anyone and get a response to license... Apparently, a Chromium, what is it now? I already had it. This is the wrong one. Nope, that's my other project. Widevine. So I was thinking of Webvine, Winevine, Widevine. So you need, in order to play back DRM content, you need this Widevine library, and it comes with Chromium, and it's not apparently a library that you can just drop in to anything that you want. You have to license it. And so they don't say it here. It was in another local side AI conversation, understanding that Brave and Opera and Edge and all of these third-party browsers all license Widevine so they can play encrypted H.264 AAC streams. And apparently, whether it's a hallucination or not, AI was telling me that you either need to get the license for it and work with Chromium to get the license, or use I was trying to see if I can find the phrasing in here. They did a good job explaining, but they're not going to say like Brave, Opera. Yeah. So I have a session here. Add to the, not this one, but this one. Add to the ticket. Add to the ticket what you said about. I can even do it this way. Here, watch this. Add to the ticket what you were saying about Opera, Brave, Edge, all those browsers that license Chromium so that they can embed the Widevine. And how feasible is it for an open source browser to get a license for it? And possibly, I'm adding to it an idea about, is this the reason why OBS uses Ceph inside of its Qt code instead of using the Qt web engine directly? Does that sound like a reasonable idea? All right. So I can just talk fluently to to Codex that's hooked with an MCP up to GitHub, and it will basically come in here to this ticket, and it just posted that right now. I was hoping to scroll down so you could see it. And so this is a comment that it added. So browsers like Brave, Vivaldi, Opera, Edge, etc., are all Chromium forks that maintain licensed agreements with Google. Why not let AI read it?
Additional context for future investigation. Browsers like Brave, Vivaldi, Opera, Edge, etc. are all Chromium forks that maintain licensing agreements with Google. Additional context for future investigation. Browsers like Brave, Vivaldi, Opera, Edge, etc. are all Chromium forks that maintain licensing agreements with Google, which lets them redistribute the Widevine CDM directly inside their products. That's why they can play DRM streams out of the box even though Chromium itself doesn't ship Widevine in the open source tree. For an open source project like Phraims, or upstream Qt web engine, there is no public program to obtain a redistribution license.
That's so weird.
The only feasible approach is to ask users to supply the CDM from an already
Is this a hallucination?
Chromium, or switch to a commercially licensed Qt build where the Qt company handles the licensing. This is likely why projects such as OBS embed Ceph Chromium themselves, or roll a custom shell, instead of depending on Qt web engine. They can control the Chromium build configuration and integrate DRM support when they have the appropriate agreements, whereas Qt web engine's redistributable binaries must remain Codex CDM free. Keeping this in mind, unless we move to a Qt web engine build that already bundles the licensed pieces, or negotiate our own redistribution agreement, which isn't practical for a public OS project, we'll always need the bring your own Chrome flow for Widevine.
Yeah. But that's not even enough. We still have to compile it. But we still have to, Control C. But we still have to compile a special version of the Qt web engine, don't we? Why don't you add that as a comment to the ticket also? So it'll just add that as a comment. So I think this is kind of cool that you can do this. I can open up tickets like this. I can create pull requests this way. This is a new stream on Look at What AI Can Do. I've been streaming for 5+ hours on Night versus Night, and finally remembered to pull up this streaming to Look at What AI Can Do. But I have a walkie-talkie application that talks to OpenAI real-time API, which has MCPs built into it. So theoretically, I can just walk around walkie-talkie style to my phone and talk to it and tell it to code stuff, and then go off and live my life, and then get an event notification back when the task is done, and then code again and talk to it again and have it go off and code again, and then talk to it again and code. But it's not limited to Codex. It's just an MCP that may be in fact talking to GitHub and using GitHub Copilot. It could be using Codex in the cloud too. So there's lots of things that you could do here, and it's pretty cool. So all this has been a fire hose, basically, of what I'm doing here with Look at What AI Can Do, is I'm showing you what AI can do. And Phraims is what it came up with. And now I have a ticket to basically do this. This was something that as I authenticate to these pages, and especially Discord. So here I've explained the DRM limitation, and that's why I will probably never support this as a product until I can get these types of things working. There's some other bugs where the pages aren't loading. Literally the content, and here I can refresh this layout, I can regrid it, and it will rearrange everything again. So notice that the icons aren't loading here, and if I sign into Messenger, sometimes it doesn't load, and sometimes Discord is just a white page. So I don't understand these things about why it's not behaving the correct way. But before I get into the actual deep dive here, I need to do it really pretty fast, is to show you what it takes to log into Discord, and that's contacted by the U.S. Secret Service. And here, I can't even log in. So this is already the problem. And this is almost, I believe, a dead end for trying to do it this way. I can't even log in on this. If I log in, it just takes me to a web. Open in your browser. Log in. It just takes me to this page. I can inspect it, and maybe I'll learn here. This is just I have nothing in the console. I don't yet have the ability to undock and pop this out, so that's unfortunate. But I can do new window. And dock this over here. Maybe. There we go. Discord.com. And this page should track that. Inspect that page. And log in. Inspect this element. The music stopped because I was playing the text-to-speech there. And apologies if the music is distracting. This is me curating my playlist that I use while gaming on Fridays or other days. So here's the login field. It's just going to the page. That's all it's doing. I guess it's browsing to the login page. And this is saying you need JavaScript. But this is a no script. Like, this isn't really what's happening. This is just saying that it's failing to load, even though the console is never saying that it's failing to load. So I can. This is going to be a little old. I don't think they have AI built into this one yet. The Qt browser is not the bleeding edge latest. So how do I figure out why this page isn't loading? When it isn't. I'm not going to get into that. This is an example of a bug on the browser that I need to work on. So something else for passkeys. Let's say I want to do this. And I want to sign in as another user. Look at what AI can do. All right. Now I need a password for this. Let me redact. And go grab it. I was wondering if there's a way I can jump faster forward into a... Let me make sure this is closed. Okay. So I'm logged in. It should have done, this is a brand new account. I need to add two-factor to it. I was hoping it would require passkeys.
That was Tenebrae. Now playing.
If I were to do my personal one, show more accounts, add another account, redact this one. So this one, all I did was type in my, you can see here, I didn't know if it would prompt me for my password, and I did the same thing again. All I did was just type in my username at Gmail, and it wants to do a passkey. So here is where this deep dive begins. And I'm going to try to time box implementing passkey. Like, passkey seems like a pretty daunting task, and it is possible to implement passkeys in the Phraims browser. The benefit of me explaining all that about the DRM stuff and the Widevine and the Ceph browser and all that stuff is there are some limitations that are for licensing reasons and encryption reasons, and there's probably a good technical reason for it, and I can understand that. There may be also, passkeys are encryption, there may be another equivalent encryption worthy reason why I cannot go forward implementing this. And I imagine it might not be trivial. Some of these things surprise me by how trivial they are. So I'm going to try to implement this. And so the plan, I've already implemented, written a ticket, and the ticket was very simply written just where I asked ChatGPT to, from the command line, just say, create a GitHub ticket to add Passkey integration. And it created this ticket. So this is the ticket that it created. And it was poorly written. And so it had Qt 6.2, and so I went and asked it, like, what about Qt 6. Why did you think the project is Qt 6.2? It told me in the CMake file, you said the minimum requirement was 6.2, and I said, well, change that to 6.10 and update the original comment in the ticket to say the minimum requirement is 6.10, and it basically rewrote this whole thing and saying, oh, everything's pretty good, let's do it. And so it's basically got most all the specification at a high level necessary to implement this. So I can't exactly assign this to Copilot because of my billing situation, because I'm on the Look at What AI Can Do too. Normally, I would assign this to Copilot and let it exhaust itself before I start using my Codex quota. Because I like to talk to Codex from the command line, and that eats up some quota. And I usually don't use up a whole week. But I would if I started having it code everything. So I spin off a lot of coding assignments to Copilot. It's integrated in GitHub, and it works really well. So that's my preferred method. That's the way I work. So, but since I can't do it on Copilot right now, I'm going to do it in this. And I'm basically going to start a whole new session. So this one's over. I will close that, and I'll start a whole new Codex session. And this is how we work. This is what we're going to do. And we're going to time box this. And hashtag, what do we call this? Flash ticket implementation. Flash implementation. I don't know what Johnny on the spot. I have no idea what to call this. But basically, how fast can we take a ticket? Some of them are trivial, some of them are non-trivial. I would say this one might be non-trivial. What can we do to implement this thing really fast? All right, and then I got a fairly hard stop that I need to do. So I got a reason to stop this pretty fast. So let's go off and see what we can do as far as doing this. So this is how I do it. I'm going to not start the timer yet until, and you can't see the timer, I don't have it on the screen. Do I want to spontaneously spin up a timer? Browser source timer. Timer, browser source timer for OBS. This is the plugin. OBS countdown, configure your own countdown. Here we go. OBS countdown, 15 minutes, open configurator. What can we do here? 15 minutes, got it. All right, click to copy. Let's do title. Implement title. Seconds, select your flow, interval, date, down, title. Where do I set the title? Divider years. I appreciate it. Here we go. No, dark. Timer style. Transparent. Title. Here we go. Implement passkeys. Ending text. Ended. Time's up. All right. Copy the source and come to OBS. Please don't crash on me. Browser source. Timer. Countdown. 15-minute. Countdown. Timer. 15 minutes. Let's put you in here and make you small. There we go. Let's resize you as it's a lot wider than narrow, so we'll go 300. And we'll even change you to 600 by 200. All right. And let's see what we can do. Shove you here. Can we implement passkeys? in. I want to restart. Shut down source when not visible. Refresh when it becomes active. Alright. Let's do this. I'm going to start the timer manually and on mine at the same time. When I'm ready, as soon as I hit enter. So, I got this, I got that, 27. Can we do it in 15 minutes? Alright, I'm not going to hit enter here. I'm going to type my prompt, and I'm going to, this is the passkeys. This is the app we're going to replace, so I'm going to close this and reopen it as we implement it. And I don't have to worry about the branch even. I just make sure that I don't have any code implemented. We're good. Alright. What's my prompt going to be? Check this out. Using the GitHub MCP, find the ticket to implement passkeys and implement it. That's it. So it's going to go off and use the MCP to talk to GitHub, find the ticket to implement passkeys, and implement it. So, are we ready to do this? Where's my OBS? Let's do. I'll set this up to be controllable by my Stream Deck in the future. But for now, let's go 3, 2, 1, bam, and hit enter. All right, now we follow along and see what it can do. Here is the code that we're going to see. We can watch this think, and we can watch our chat along the side here. And what else? Then this Qt itself, we can follow along in Qt. Sometimes we can see earlier if it's going to crash, if it's not going to compile. And we can watch if it's not going to compile.
Now playing Star Citizen, Pedro Macedo Camacho, by Majesty of Space.
All right. That's Qt. This is Get Kraken. Here is Codex going. And I've seen Codex work better than Copilot in some places, and I've seen Copilot work better in some places than Codex. And I've seen Visual Studio built-in Copilot work better than Visual Studio built-in Codex. I don't really use the built-in one. Sometimes I do. I use it when I'm fine-tuning existing code. I don't tend to have it all locally implemented on the local box. It can. So it's investigating, looking. It read the ticket, laying out a side-by-side plan and how to do that stuff. I can even have it speak this stuff and give it a voice.
I'm laying out a step-by-step plan to add Passkey support, starting with understanding requirements, updating the split window component for WebAuthn, building the UI prompts, wiring logic and signals, and wrapping up with docs and tests. This helps me tackle the task in manageable chunks.
I'll let it speak.
I'm planning how to handle the WebAuthn requested signal by creating a new dialog UI that responds to different request states like account selection, pin collection, and errors. I'm considering a modular approach with a new WebAuthn dialog class, wiring it into the existing window frame architecture, and making sure the build system includes these additions. Let's explore the header types and signal integration next. I'm outlining a new WebAuthn dialog class to manage authentication UI triggered by QWeb Engine WebAuthn request events, handling different states like account selection and pin entry with appropriate UI elements. I'll also update target build files, connect the dialog lifecycle correctly, and ensure documentation and test plans
It's a weird
reflect Passkey support additions.
woofer bass noise in my ear.
I'm mapping out a detailed plan to add a new WebAuthn dialog class with Qt widgets. Update CMake and connect it into existing UI like split window and split frame widget. The dialog will handle states for account selection, pin entry, statuses, and failures, carefully managing request lifecycles and user interactions while hooking signals properly. I'll also make sure the profile enables WebAuthn features. Lots to coordinate here.
Lots to coordinate here. Well, what can we do? It hasn't written any code yet. It's still just thinking. Which is, you know, like, as a software developer, as many times it's like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Why aren't you writing any code? I'm whiteboarding. I'm thinking things through. I'm planning on how to do something. Well, you just write it. Just, like, you need to write your ticket, write your code, like, get going. No, even this fucking robot is thinking here. So the robot thinks it's fine. It hasn't even written a single line of code yet. It's still thinking. It's trying to figure it out. And often it's bad. Often it doesn't know what's going on. Here I can make a branch. While this is running, I can make a branch. Branch called Passkeys. I might as well restart, get cracking here. Yeah, I don't care about you. Still no code yet. Still thinking. And it kind of doesn't even know some of this stuff.
I'm exploring how WebAuthn is enabled in Qt Web Engine around version 6.10, checking for relevant methods like QWebEngine profile, set WebAuthn enabled or attributes in Qt
for the Widevine DRM stuff, CRM, customer relation management, but for the digital rights media stuff, it was hallucinating APIs that currently don't exist. Now, they might have existed in the past. So even it's struggling. How to implement passkeys. This could fail. This whole experiment. We're down to 8 minutes. What is the stream showing? Over the stream shows 8 minutes and, yep, 30 seconds. Code like the wind, Grandma. Code like the wind. I have a prior obligation, and I'm gonna leave this running, and I'm gonna just kind of locally mute my mic while I'm getting out of my pajama pants.
I'm preparing to add a Dart CPP file implementing the WebAuthn dialog class with Qt widgets, setting up UI pages, signals, and slots to handle Passkey requests. I'll include essential headers, construct the dialog UI, wire up button actions and request state changes, and properly manage showing hiding controls and updating status messages throughout the request lifecycle. This will also handle cleanup, retries, and form validation with Qt idioms like signals, slots, and timers.
Code like the wind, Grandma. Life sickles, I heard it say. Life sickles. Where are we? Wrote a lot of code there.
As legend has it. Now playing Aspire.
All right. 5 minutes to go. Getting close to 5 minutes to go. Is it going to make 15 minutes? What are we at here? Let's kind of see what its progress is. It added some dialogues. This is I haven't cleaned up the Mac OS versus Windows build. This is only a Mac OS build right now. And we can resize you to get a little bit larger. Nice. Move you down. Yeah, but that's not going to do much. All right, split frame widget. What are we adding here? But we're already larger. This is stupid because we know that we're 610. It's safe, but the compiler would catch it anyway. Yeah, okay. Set WebAuth and try enable WebAuth authn. Where's that defined? It's going to be util. It's a whole new dialog. It's going to show. I'm not sure where this is going. I want it. My preference would be for it to do a fingerprint read on the local device, so that I can just fingerprint authenticate. There's the header, and that's it. It's those four or five files. It's 2 ads, 2 mods. Split window CPP is changing you to try enable WebAuth as a lambda to try to invoke a method name. Try to invoke set WebAuth enable, set WebAuthn enable, set. Wow, that's resorting to a pseudo reflection. I don't know if it's technically called reflection on C code. It's updating the agents file because I've got an agent's responsibilities is to maintain all the documentation and code comments. In the read in itself, in the agent's MD file, and obviously in the README and the code itself. So it's going off and doing that. And when things make sense to me, I stage them. If it's done this, if it's 100% sensible to me, I'll go ahead and stage it. Sure, I get that there's a file there. I don't yet know what it's going to do. I don't really. The make file is fine. Phraims now support passkeys. Sure, that's README stuff. This is fine. These are weird. Those if checks. So yeah, you're fine. We'll add you. We don't need you. And it's thinking, and it's done. It's done. So we had 2 minutes left. 1 minute 55 left. So let's see if it works. Bam, 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 bam. If else that. This done. Check to staged. Looks good to me. Staged. Stage that whole file. Stage that whole file. Because there's no differences. I'll go in and look at it later. Let's see if it compiles. Here we go. Let's see on a command B. It compiles. Holy shit. Compiles. Let's run. So in order to run, I gotta close this. Closing that. And running this. Command R. Run. Now. What happens when I say group 1, you're not signed in, try again. Now if I put my name and I sign in with Passkey, well, it didn't pop. So it didn't prompt for a passkey. Is there a passkey test website? So 30 seconds left. We're not going to make it. I'm kind of curious what the timer, what the browser source does here in 26 seconds. So it implemented all that in about 13 minutes, which is pretty good for the implementation output, but it has yet to be tested. In 10, 9, 8, 7. I'm curious what it says at the, after this. 4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up. All right. And my timer went off too. So I'll work on hashtag note to self, get the browsers, get the Neo timer to be a multi-task, see if it can be a multi-action to start its own timer and show the countdown timer 15 minutes. All right, I'll stop this. And it's 5:45 and Pacific time. That is an implementation. It didn't wow me in its miracle working. I would have expected it to pop up something here. And it's not really. So I can go to the inspector and I can see if there's any error here. Try another way. And clear. Use your passkey. It's not doing anything. Issues. Page layout. Is anything in the actual browser itself, the debug console, application output? If I clear you and try another way, passkey, did anything come out? It's all JavaScript stuff, so I'm not seeing anything actual code side. I can close and clear and launch one more time, and we'll see if this makes any difference. I kind of want to close all these and start new. But I think I can do that from just grabbing. Yeah. I will clear. But I want to see I did want to see the initial launch and all. Yeah. I'm going to do it. I'm going to close you. I'm going to close you. It closes the whole app. We delete you. We relaunch. It's going to remember that app. So I want a new window, close you, quit,
That was Ignition.
close, google.com, and show more accounts, add another account. This is the account, the page that I want. So we'll close you, Phraims closes, delete, run, Command R. It didn't remember that, it should have, but that's okay. I'm not seeing any set web auth enabled true, no such method, invoke method, no such method. All I'm getting is this, so that's why. All I see in the Qt debug output is related. All right, so we close that. If we were to relaunch, it should go back to you. Okay, so we quit that. Clear. 48. I got a few minutes. I don't know what this set web auth in. Set web auth enabled. Where it even came up with that. I, as a human, have the prerogative to go out and investigate. Let me do it under the look at what AI can do. How to enable Passkey support on a Qt Q web engine based app. I'm gonna actually just go off and ask ChatGPT also. I think it hallucinated a solution and then wrote a whole bunch of code around that hallucination. Your web application's backend must support web auth-in for generating and verifying passkey credentials. This involves generating registration and authentication challenges, storing public keys and other passkey related verifying attestation and assertion data from the client. Your web application's front end displayed within Qt Web Engine will use the web auth API, especially navigator credentials create for the registration and credentials get for authentication to interact. Ensure TQ Web Engine compatibility. Ensure you are using a recent version of Qt Web Engine based on Chromium, and newer versions generally inherit Chromium's web authability. Typically supports by default. Ensure no configuration of policies. Yeah, so summary, nothing. Enabling passkey support a web action requires correctly implementing web auth-in within the web application displayed by Qt Web Engine. Yeah, but how? But how? But how to implement? All right, and what does ChatGPT say? Short answer, 610. Handle the web auth in X.
That was Solitude. Now playing Prey.
I can copy this whole thing and put you into you, and I can say, this is getting desperate. I think this is off track. ChatGPT says, let's see what you do with that. It's this weird thing. This is just slop. This is AI slop. Is AI getting desperate and hacky, and even as a human, sometimes I resort to slop and F-it code. So I think I started at the bottom of the hour. at 5:30, and I gave it 15 minutes, hoping to have it implemented, but it took 13 minutes, and I was hoping to have everything done and working in 15 minutes. Optimistic. It took 13 minutes for it just to write the code based on the ticket. The ticket told it to do something, and the ticket said to implement issues, passkeys. The ticket said to call this. With the new Qt floor in place, we can flip the relevant setting immediately after constructing the shared profile. Right? Like, it was just confused by that, I think. So this is kind of the thing that got it off the rails, I think. That got it off the rails. Maybe a nudge from its bigger cousin. The good news is we already satisfied the key items it lists. Qt version sync. And every frame now connects to that. That dialog tracks all the states. We already handle the, I can just have it speak this, whatever.
Thanks for forwarding that summary. The good news is we already satisfy the key items it lists. Qt version signal hookup. The repo is on Qt 6.10 and every frame now connects Web Engine page. WebAuthx requested to its dialog. Split frame widget CPP 371 392 audio. That dialog tracks all the states outlined in the checklist. Account selection, pin entry, finish, failure cancel, and drives the Web Engine WebAuthx request accordingly. WebAuthx dialog CPP 1 214. Persistent profile. Split window CPP 75106 continues using a named Web Engine profile with on-disk storage. So cookies, permissions, and passkeys survive restarts exactly what point 4 recommends permissions hook. We already handle permission requested for things like mouse lock in split frame widget CPP 312-334. Extending that if we ever want richer WebAuthn permission UX would just mean adding another
bleeding through there.
WebAuthn still requires HTTPS localhost, so when you test against sites like https://webauthn.io or https passkeys.io inside frames, you're already in a trusted context. If you serve custom schemes later, mark them secure scheme as the article describes. So there's nothing fundamentally off track. Those steps match what we implemented. Let me know if you're seeing a specific runtime.
I'm not seeing any errors in the Qt debug output. Add logging. Add logging to confirm that the needful was setted and that things are supposed to be working. Because when I start a web page, it's supposed to pop up a passkey, trigger a passkey. Nothing happens. And we'll let that let that go. And getting close to cooking time. I need to start a soup and drive to the store and pick up some chicken. That's what I need to do. Is adding logging. It does a pretty good job adding logging. It sees how I log stuff and basically follows the same pattern. Kind of a retrieval augmented. You don't need to run CMake. Alright, it says that. So let's go see what you say. And build. Alright, and run. Try another way. Use your passkey. Nothing. So,
That was Machine Uprising by Arthur Riley. Now playing Intruder by White Bat Audio.
WebAuthn setter not exposed. Relying on Qt defaults. The implementation does not work. All I see in the Qt debug output is all I see related. Right. Now, you're only seeing
Right now you're only seeing the profile level message, which means the binary you're running never hit the new frame dialog logging we just added. Those QDebug calls fire as soon as the frames are constructed, so if they don't appear it typically means an older build is still on disk or you're launching a copy, for example, from Phraims app, that predates the instrumentation.
wrong.
To make sure we're actually running the updated executable, and that its debug output stays visible. 1. Rebuild from the repo root so make relinks the binary you just edited. To make build
is fine.
Launch the freshly built app directly from the terminal.
I'll just do it this way.
Build Phraims app contents Mac OS.
The build is fine, you're just getting desperate with an excuse. What's the real reason why this wouldn't be working?
Target 3. On startup you should now see lines like split window, created persistent profile off the record equals 4.
I will do a clean build, but I'm running straight from the debugger, so
attaching page 0x. Profile of the record equals false storage equals split frame widget set profile WebAuthn requested connection succeeded. Those confirm each frame is wired to the signal before you even navigate anywhere. If you still only see the WebAuthn setter not exposed line after following the steps above, please copy the entire terminal output. Launching the rebuilt binary so I can confirm whether Qt is
well, this happened.
Or if we're somehow skipping frame
construction
entirely on your machine.
So this is where it could be like, oh no, oh no, oh no. So okay, so something happened there. This might work. Your device will ask for a fingerprint face or screen lock. Holy fuck. It's 6 o'clock. This might work. Alright, here we go. I'm not sure why. Browser cache or whatever. I'm pretty sure it wasn't a build because you saw that I was building. Anyway.
By White Bat Audio.
Thank you.
Now playing Expansion of the Universe.
It's a good song.
Riley.
Continue. Alright. I don't see anything yet. I can close and try this again. One more time. Clear. Run. Try another way. Passkey. Your device will ask for a fingerprint or face screen lock. I don't see anything in the... Here, I do see WebAuthn UX requested. I do see this. I do see. And then here's you can a lot of people don't. There was a lot of confusion in the forums about like what you do, how you paste an image into Codex CLI, but on a Mac, people were thinking that doesn't work. And I see this. It's Control V, not Command V, as you normally would paste, but Control V. But when I click continue, nothing happens. Thanks for screenshot, narrow it down. Google's reaching the Passkey UI, but when you click continue, nothing happens because Qt asks the embedder to authorize the WebAuthn request before it ever shows the dialog in our code. We currently grant mouse lock automatically, but deny every other permission type, including WebAuth requests, when Chromium doesn't get past the point fixed. So, yes, do it. Fuck, come on. Like, what part of implement this do you not understand? So I'm just gonna stage all that, whether it was desperate or not. This is all kind of desperate, and we're over time. I gotta start soup here. I'm gonna let that run for a moment, so I'll be right back. I'm just gonna mute this.
That was Expansion of the Universe by Arthur Riley. Now playing Meat Grinder by White Bat Audio.
All right. It's still thinking. Wow. I think it's getting desperate here. So it added that code so that passkeys can be used within Phraims. grant. And then it removed it. I'm examining why UX events aren't triggering despite hooking signals. It seems enabling WebAuthn might require calling internal Qt profile methods or passing Chromium flags. But some might be missing due to build features disabled or inaccessible and checking clues. Like, so you deleted that and figuring out why permission is blocked, focusing on missing or untriggered events like I'm exploring why WebAuthn might not be firing and a Qt. I'm piecing together how Qt handles WebAuthn like you should have already. I'm investigating why they don't. What is all this stuff? I've had code absolutely get slaughtered before. It's searching documents now. It's gone off and found, so it has access to my whole file system, which is a little scary, but you know, Skynet. It's I will go look at that one too. While it's doing that, let the human come in. So this is me asking Gemini. Handle webhooks, and I have that code, and I think there's logging in here. Okay, so you're not in anywhere in this code? Grab this whole output. Got a share. Grab that whole message. Use code with caution. Good news, we found the real blocker. Our permission hook was auto-denying every permission type except mouse lock. Qt routes, but you just deleted you is the thing. Yeah, I mean, okay, deny. Let's see what difference that makes. I'm weirded out by it doesn't have that. It's supposed to have, I would think it's supposed to have this one. Yeah, it's there. So it is there, and it's here. Connection succeeded. Show WebAuth dialog. All right. Compile. Are we running? Now we are. Continue. All right. It was missing. It said basically in this it was missing one line. It looked like all that thinking was for one line. It took out the deny and basically just logs. It just logs the request and lets it just naturally default. So here we go. Maybe this will do it.
Day in Paradise by Pedro Macedo Camacho.
Nope. I see nothing. Still nothing. All right. With this, I'm going to let this song play out and stop this 6-7 hour long stream. I'm kind of getting a little buzzed here. This has crashed a bunch of times. I can go up and verify on you what you say you are, and you say that we've been streaming for 6 hours. All right. So I am going to end this here and go do some domestic responsibilities. And thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. I'm just doing this for an audience of 1 right now, and hopefully some other people find this interesting or want to help or learn, or if I can get like ideas of things to cover. So let me know in the comments. Catch you later. I have this song play out though.
I'm not plus this motherfucking night, bitch.